Welcome to the non-dancing edition of Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. I say non-dancing because seconds before we went live with the shot, I was jamming to Nora Traganese and her band, our theme song here on the show. Dave Stewart joins me. I'm Rob Adams. Let's have some fun for 30 minutes because we've got serious stuff as well going on, Dave. Not only what we saw on the ice on Monday night, but last night we saw some stuff go on with fans and players. We definitely don't like seeing that. But anyway, how are you?
I'm doing all right. We've got a little John Travolta action going here, right?
Staying alive. All right. Let us jump into the show today, and let's start there because Trinity Catholic and Norwalk, they seem to have a little something going on right now where there's a bit of a rivalry building. Now, I love a good rivalry for sure, but what we saw some bad stuff happen during football season last year, and I don't know if the two are related at all, but last night they played basketball, boys basketball. Trinity got the win. Norwalk 0-4, which is a surprise to me. But the bigger issue coming out of this is a fight breaking out at the gym in Norwalk between people in the stands and players, and that is a definite no-no.
Yeah, you expect some heated stuff on the court or on the ice or wherever you're going, and but for fans to get involved, for parents to get involved with the kids on the floor or on the ice or wherever they happen to be, that's just, you got to stay away from that. That can't be allowed. Athletes. Sometimes stuff gets heated. We saw that on ice hockey with Darien and Notre Dame, West Haven the other night, and then this game last night. But it's got to stay on the court when it does happen. It's unfortunate when it does happen anyway, but you can't have the fans getting involved.
No, and you really can't have fans laying hands on students. I mean, there shouldn't be any physicality at all. But the adults have to remain the adults.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're seeing that a little bit more and more. I know in New Canaan a few years ago, there was a parent who ran out of the stands to yell at the ref and kind of got into it, jawing back and forth with a player from Greenwich that was at New Canaan High School, and they ejected that parent from the game, and he wasn't allowed at the next couple of games too. And I think eventually they let him back in, but that's a no-no. You can't do that. You can't get involved in stuff like that.
It can't be allowed. It can't be tolerated. Kudos to the police who had to step in. Kudos to both athletic departments. Apparently, maybe the two groups were sitting a little too close together, but, we shouldn't have to do that either. I know we do. We shouldn't have to. I mean, I hate to be simplistic, but can't we all just get along?
It's like soccer hooligans out there getting at each other. Yeah, you got to. The bottom line is this: it's no matter how important the game is to you or to the kids on the court, the athletes involved, it's still a sport. It's still a game. It's supposed to be fun. I know it's very important to a lot of people, but you can't let tempers boil over like that. And you got to realize, not only is it a sport, is it a game, but it's high school sports. It's supposed to be a learning experience. And what do people learn out of this?
And I saw Scott Erickson, who's been on the show many times, and we'll have him on again. He tweeted a picture of the blood on the floor. I decided, you want to see it, go see it on Twitter. Scott's a good follow on Twitter anyway, so give him the follow. I don't think we need to run it here on the show. Just, my opinion, maybe I'm overreacting, but there was a picture of it. He also tweeted that he did have video of the incident, but what he had happened basically after, and it doesn't accurately reflect it. So again, he opted to not run it, and so there's no need for us to pursue it as well.
I think that's a classy move on his part too, to just if you can't tell the whole story with one thing and you're only going to tell part of it, then that's probably unfair to the people who are in the video.
And I'll continue on Scott for just an extra moment. He tweeted, and I'm quoting Scott here, "Trinity parent put his hands on a Norwalk kid, can't happen." He's totally right. But beyond that, he had a comment from someone else. He said, "Was the kid obnoxious? Sure, but who cares? He's a kid, a high school kid at a basketball game. Adult can't touch him ever." I can't disagree.
Yeah, that's the bottom line right there. I mean, that's true in life. You shouldn't go after people like that in a violent manner or in a forceful manner. And when an adult does that to a high school student at a high school kid's game, it's pretty bad stuff.
Yeah, it's not good. Will there be repercussions? I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out of it. That's another thing that'll be interesting to watch. And I know to an extent, the adults and the people who are responsible, the higher-ups in the FCAC, and whether it's Al in the SEC, or, they don't necessarily want this spotlight, and I don't blame them, but we have to talk about it. It's part of the gig. But, it's a black eye for everybody involved, and it's just, I want good atmosphere. I love a great crowd. I love a great crowd.
You want people to be into it.
Absolutely.
But
and I expect Saturday night, we're going to have a basketball doubleheader here that's going to be really fantastic for charity between St. Joseph and Trumbull, girls and boys basketball. We'll have it on the HAN Network. I'm told to expect well over 1,000 people, possibly upwards of 2,000 people at Alumni Hall in Fairfield. I'm pumped for that.
Well, those are good teams, good programs, rivalry, town rivals, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. And you want to see people getting into it, and you want the crowd to be into it. You just don't want the crowd to become part of the on-court activities, so to speak.
Exactly. Players play. You sit in the stands. Cheer. Let's leave it at that.
Yes, exactly. That's what they always say. They always say root for your team. Not against the other team. Not don't. Obviously with high school students you're going to get some stuff going on, but which is all well and good. In some cases it's part of the fun, but when it spills over into the game and starts to affect what's going on the court, that's bad.
And I get the emotions run high. I know there are those who, for instance, from New Canaan, who will never under any circumstances have anything to do with anything blue. That's just the way it goes. So are they actively rooting against Derry? And they might be.
Yeah.
They might be. But I don't know that it's fatal. It's fatal when it spills over like this.
Yeah, when it becomes violent, when it becomes forceful, when people go on, people affect the game on the court. Then it becomes when they become the story and the game's not the story anymore. Then that's gone over the line.
Yeah, and off of that, it's not the same, but it's similar. What happened Monday night in Darien? It's similar in that we obviously saw the battle on the ice. You were there for it as well. Then we saw the coaches chirping at each other, and again, they're going to defend their kids. To make that very clear, they're going to defend their teams. But are they parallel? They're not. But it's a week in which we're seeing kind of extracurricular activities, so I guess that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, and I think hockey, in some cases, hockey seems to lend itself to that type of reaction. I think with the velocity of the game and the impact of the checks, people getting frustrated on the ice and the speed of it. I think hockey tends to almost lend itself to a little bit of that. You see fights in the NHL and things like that, but when I think the kids, and I think Mac Budd said it, that he was disappointed with the way the kids handled their frustration.
Yes.
Because now I believe you have 2 major penties in that game
against Scott Voigt. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're going to have a kid suspended. They already had somebody injured. It's now it affects more than just that game, and you can't let your frustrations boil over to affect it where it's going to affect your game in the future. So.
Yeah, and Notre Dame West Haven actually plays tonight, so they're going to have a player sitting out. Darien's going to have to deal with the Scott Voigt situation. That's not something he wants on his, and the Riley Mullen has to sit out for a bit as well. So it was, but as I come back to from yesterday's show, that really could have been a lot worse.
Yes, oh, definitely. There
could have been more punishments handed out.
Yeah, and it's probably both. It's early in the season, so maybe it's a bit of a warning to those teams too that hey, we could have had more punishments handed out. But you've got a couple of guys out for this game. Just watch yourself in the future, and hopefully they learn a lesson from it. Talking about Notre Dame West Haven too. They're playing St. Joe's, which is a hot team right now, and they had a great game. The other day, beating Notre Dame Fairfield. And I believe their goalie, Ryan Wilson, made 40 saves in that game. They shut him out 3-0. So you're going to, that's a tough one to go into when you're not at full steam.
A couple of technical notes here on the show that I'm going to mention because I'm understanding that we're not entirely being seen. If you go to our YouTube channel, go to YouTube, look for Hersom Acorn. You can certainly find us there. We'd be live there. Also, going forward, we've often said live.han.network. I don't need to say that anymore. It will just be han.network. Both will work, but we can shorten it as the message this morning said, try it. It's fun. So I'm trying it. It's fun to say HAN.network.
Shorter is better.
Shorter is sometimes better. So, so as we continue on here on the show, what have been your early impressions? You know, obviously we're only a few days into 2016, but we're far enough into and past kind of the quarter pole for a lot of these sports that we pay attention to, and we pay attention to them all. Wrestling later tonight here on the HAN Network. What have been your impressions? What's jumping out at you?
Well, if you look at, we'll start with boys hockey. You know, if you look at, I was really impressed with the way Darien was playing, and the way things were going for them after winning the state championship last year. They just came out of the gates flying, and then Notre Dame West Haven really showed me something the other day. That's a good, solid team. They seem to pick up steam. You did that game, obviously, so you would know they seem to pick up steam as they went along, and. You know, I was very impressed with Notre Dame West Haven now, and now Darien having a loss kind of throws some, a little bit of stirs up things a bit. I've been impressed with St. Joe's wins.
Definitely.
You know, that they've been a team that you never know what to expect from them. I know when I go into the season, they always seem to be a team that that has scoring power, but they also give up a lot of goals, it seems. But with the performance the other day, with the shutout on Notre Dame Fairfield, you know, maybe they've got something there too. And you know, being able to score is a big thing. If you look at New Canaan, I've done a couple of their games, and one of the things that's affecting them right now is that even at times when they have outplayed other teams, they lost to Greenwich the other day 3-1. I thought the last two periods they actually had the better of play. They're not able to put it in the net right now. They don't have that finisher. They don't have the scorer. Gunnar Granito's probably the closest thing right now to a finisher they've had, you know, in that he's had some impressive goals. But he's only a freshman, and can you ask that much of a freshman right off the bat? So that's been a little struggle. But right now it looks like, to me, like Darien and Greenwich with maybe St. Joe's right on the outskirts of that.
Yeah, Ridgefield has really intrigued me. I thought Ridgefield was going to be part of the discussion, and right now they're really not. They got shut down pretty good by West Haven, and it makes me think that maybe Fairfield Prep, first of all, isn't that good because Ridgefield did beat them. So what's the fallout of all this? How good, you know, where are the Tigers in all of this?
Well, we might learn a little bit tonight because Ridgefield is playing at the Darien Ice Rink against New Canaan tonight.
Yes.
So that may tell some stuff about both those teams. They had that impressive win over Fairfield Prep you mentioned, and you know, on opening day, and you know, that kind of opened some eyes, and you're waiting to see what they'll do. And now I believe they're 1-3 straight losses. So they're reeling a little bit. You know, I would say that right now for some of these teams that are struggling, Ridgefield and New Canaan in particular, it is early, and if you look at the teams they've been playing, those are good teams. And New Canaan lost to, 3 of their losses are to Darien, to Greenwich, to Notre Dame of West Haven, and those are all ranked in the top 5. They still have Notre Dame of Fairfield coming up on Saturday. They're going to play Xavier on the 18th, and Xavier, I believe, is ranked number 5 in the state.
Xavier's good.
You know, I mean, this is not like, you know, as Bo Hickey used to say, because I love to quote Bo Hickey, we're not playing the Little Sisters of the Poor here. We're playing, you know, we're playing a big boy schedule. So
this is very true.
This is tough stuff.
And there's been some really good hockey so far, and there will be more of it. In fact, you know, the schedule's up right now, and it's good to go, but it's going to get played with a little bit over the next couple of days, I would imagine, and we'll be probably adding a few things. Some of these hockey matchups are just too inviting to overlook, and we're going through a stretch where, at least on the original schedule, we don't have a lot of hockey for basically about 2 weeks. So want to get some more hockey back in there, and certainly basketball. Basketball tomorrow, Danbury, Norwalk. But I'll hold that thought. Yeah, I'll hold that thought. We'll come back to that, continue on, get a little more going into basketball. We'll talk girls hockey, girls basketball. Still a lot to do, wrestling as well. We'll take a break. We'll continue on Nutmeg Sports right after this on HAN.network.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, They know your dog's name, too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. I understand everything is cool now. You're seeing us on all the HAN Network websites as well as HAN.network, which will lead you to live.han.network, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. Bookmark it, make it easier. Anyway, back to the show we go. For this Wednesday edition, Dave Stewart alongside of me. I'm Rob Adams. So happy you decided to join us today. And, Dave, we're looking forward to Danbury tomorrow against Norwalk in basketball. I'm excited to get back to the basketball court. But Norwalk at 0-4, I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, they graduated, I think it's something like 95% of their scoring from last year.
And Roy Kane, a big loss.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't lose a player like that. Although, if you look at the FCAC, I believe there's only one player who was on last year's first and second team All-FCAC who's back in the league, that being Tyrell Alexander from West Hill.
Yeah.
And so everybody lost some stuff. But they got hit particularly hard. They lost 95% of their scoring, and so they got to find that. They're still finding their way. You just wonder if they'll be able to kind of right the ship before it gets too late. You don't want to dig yourself such a hole that you can't climb out of it, and you don't make the states. You don't have a shot at the FCAC or anything. Luckily for them, it's only one game into the FCAC season, so there's obviously plenty of time to make that. Nothing's been decided. But they are struggling. They have talent. It's just I think they've got to find their footing at this point, and obviously that hasn't happened yet.
Obviously, you can make a huge statement against the Danbury Hatters, who many believe Danbury might be the team that's a step above everyone in this very wide open FCAC this year. I thought Norwalk was in the mix, and again, Norwalk can make a huge statement with a victory tomorrow night against the Hatters.
Yeah, Danbury really, they had the most coming back in terms of their starters and in terms of just their scoring. Whoever was out there, they had the most. And they've shown it. They've shown that they deserve to be a favorite. They deserve to be a team to beat, so to speak, as people like to say. They've had some big wins so far, and it'll be. It'll be an interesting game tomorrow night to see if Norwalk can do something against them. I think it would be a success for Norwalk if they can actually push them. Push them even if they lost the game. It was a close game. That would be a step forward. And the way Danbury's beating everybody right now, would be just be in contention with them is tough.
7 o'clock tomorrow night here on the HAN Network. We'll have pregame activities before that and then get going between the Hatters and the Bears, so should be fun. Looking forward to some basketball again. Chris Kalin on the call with me tomorrow night over at Norwalk High School. Then to the weekend, as I mentioned, we've got St. Joseph and Trumbull in a charity basketball evening, if you will. Not really a tournament. Boys basketball going, in fact, that evening at 7:45. The girls tip off first at 6 o'clock. That's all at Alumni Hall at Fairfield University. They tell me the building fills up and it's pretty phenomenal. So if you're going, you better, if the tickets are on sale, you better get them, or you better be in line pretty early to get there. We will be inside the building and set to broadcast both games that night. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that Trumbull girls team right now, Steve Tobich has had them playing really well right now, and that's a great rivalry. St. Joe's is playing well, but Trumbull's got a couple of big wins this year. They're rolling along at 6-1, so that'll be a fun one to watch, that girls' game especially.
And you know what? They're in the thick of it. But Ridgefield has kind of dropped out a bit. The defending champions, they dropped out of the Game Time CT poll, in fact. They're out of the top 10 right now. I believe Ward is in it. Certainly Greenwich is in it. Abby Wolf going for 30 last night in a victory against St. Joseph. So the Cardinals look good. Capital Prep, of course, is a whole different, that's a different discussion right there. They don't lose.
Yeah, and Ridgefield, they've struggled, but again, it's early. I think they'll still be there at the end.
I do too.
I believe they won it last year out of the 4 seed. If I'm not, I could be mistaken on that, but they weren't a top seed, and they knocked off a couple of good teams to both to get into the final. I believe they beat Wilton and Greenwich along the way, and those were teams that were just really really looking like they were going to be the teams to beat.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that the FCAC loss helped motivate Wilton on their run to the state title.
Yes.
They were clearly the best team all along. Probably shouldn't have lost in the FCAC, but they did. And they kind of got revitalized off of that. But that Wilton team was so good to watch last year. Spinning our wheels over to girls hockey. There's Darien, and there's New Canaan. After that,
yeah, they seem
maybe
to be
Ridgefield too.
Ridgefield's in there, and New Canaan is actually playing up at the Winter Garden today at 3:30 against Ridgefield. And it's interesting because over the years, and I've talked to Rich Buellin about this a couple of times, Darien, no matter how good they are, they seem to have a little bit of trouble with Greenwich. They beat them, but they have a little bit of trouble. And Greenwich seems to be their team that can, basically kind of nip at their heels a little bit. And Ridgefield, for New Canaan, it's Ridgefield. Ridgefield always gives them heck, and they, especially at the Winter Garden, New Canaan will win a lot of those games up there, but it's never easy. It always ends up being a game that's like a 4-2 game where New Canaan gets an empty netter in the last few seconds and wins the game, but it's really going back and forth. And, so Ridgefield, I would never count a Ridgefield girls hockey team out of it, only because of their history. They always have good players, and they seem to play well. But if you really look at it right now, like you're saying, New Canaan and Darien just seem like they're 2 powerhouses right now. It's going to be real interesting. They meet on the 16th. Darien has one loss to Greenwich Academy, another powerhouse.
Yes.
And New Canaan doesn't have a loss at all, and they've beaten some decent teams. So, that could be a fun one. You could be looking at two teams, Darien with 1 loss, New Canaan undefeated at the time, and that'll tell a lot. And they meet twice this year during the regular season. Could see each other as much as 4 times. So, Jamie Tropsa and Rich Buellin will be, getting to know each other really well, even better.
Yeah, they're both great guys.
They're
by the
both
way.
good friends too. So
Ridgefield at 3-1 in the FCAC, New Canaan 3-0, Darien 4-0, Greenwich at 3-2, and then after that comes Staples, West Hill, Stamford at 2-2, and those are FCAC records, I should add. I'm going to double back to boys hockey for a moment because a thought jumped into my mind because Greenwich obviously playing so well, and I don't know that it will happen, but Greenwich hockey, if you don't know, there are actually 2 phenomenal hockey programs in Greenwich. Greenwich High playing at a very high level, coming off a state championship appearance last year, losing to Darien 1-0. And the Brunswick Bruins a few miles up the road. They used to have an annual town crown until Brunswick began to basically annihilate the Cardinals as the Cardinals went into kind of a bad stretch. I know it's not going to happen, but I was in the building to broadcast a couple of those games, and I would basically be on hands and knees going into Marty Hersum's office going, please let us broadcast it. Greenwich, Brunswick was phenomenal. As good a night as I've seen in a lot of sports nights.
Those games are fun to play. Those
fun.
are fun. Those are the type of games you play for because they feel like playoff games when they're not. It's like New Canaan meeting Darien in anything on any given day. Those are always fun games, and that would be great to see.
Yeah, I just
great to see again.
It jumped in my mind, and I thought, let me advocate for that for a moment because it really, even when Brunswick had the better of it, that was still some fun stuff, but I do remember Greenwich beating the Bruins as well, and they won't do it at Hartung Rink, which is the Bruins' home ice. But what if? Have you ever been to that facility?
I have not. No, great facility.
Oh, what a and we would love, from a broadcasting perspective, we would love to shoot from there. There's a balcony that hangs over the ice. We'd be at center ice, camera. AJ and Eric must right now be going, excellent, let's do it. It's a great atmosphere.
Hockey rinks are tough too, because you get places like the Darien Ice Rink where we have to shoot from one angle, and Bennett Rink is beautiful. To shoot. It's really just a great setup to watch a hockey game, and and Terry Connors has its own quirks to it, but it is actually, to me, it seems like a fairly decent game to shoot from in different spots, but. There's always little quirks there too that stand out.
Yeah, Brunswick is a pretty special place. Of course, Ingalls Rink, and there are other hockey barns.
Ingalls Rink is beautiful.
I love Ingalls Rink. With all that said, we do have a couple of interviews lined up that we can throw at you from the FCAC Tour, because we thought we can't play all of them, but we figured, well, let's pick a couple of the teams that we can say hello to from Trumbull and St. Joseph to get you lined up. We'll do that, and then Dave and I will come back and say goodbye. But first of all, let's have a look at one of these interviews. We'll rack them up and play them for you right now. Joined by members of the boys basketball team here at St. Joseph High School, the home of the cadets, with Bill Bloxham. I'm Rob Adams. Getting a little breezy. Sheets are blowing around, but we'll let these guys introduce themselves and talk some hoops. Coach, I'll start with you.
Yes, I'm Coach Watts, Coach Chris Watts.
Joe Lucy.
Tim Deneen.
Omar Telfer. Will Quigley.
Coach, one of the real important places in basketball is right here at St. Joseph. How have you continued to build on the legacy?
Well, I'm pretty sure just a lot of talking with the guy who set this whole legacy, the legend Coach Montelli. We constantly stay in touch. We continue the same type of hard work that he instilled here, and when I played here and when I coached under him, and we just haven't stopped working, and we're just going to continue to work and hopefully continue to bring the tradition of St. Joe's basketball back here.
I can hear that Coach Montelli's voice and that big handshake of his. And Joe, as I mentioned, great basketball played here. What about hard work for you guys and making you guys a real strong team in the FCAC?
For us as a team, we always push each other. We've been working hard ever since the season ended last year, and just always pushing each other to get better.
Tim, in every interview I've done so far with every basketball team in the FCAC, I've pretty much said the same thing. This is as wide open a league as I've seen maybe in forever, and I've been here quite a few years. You guys have as good a chance as anyone. Who are the other teams you're keeping an eye on, if anybody?
We got to look out for everybody. We don't know what's going to be like. The season hasn't started yet. We're just going to keep working hard, keep doing what we're doing, and we'll be ready when the season comes.
Bill, down to you.
Omar, obviously the ball's in your hands. What's the pressure like with that? But I know here with Coach Watts, versatility is the key. He likes to have multiple players do multiple roles. But once again, you are the glue right now in terms of ball. How's the preseason been going?
Oh, it's been going good. We've been working hard in the gym every day. We just got to stay calm and relax. That's all we have to do. I know he's by my side, telling me what I have to do.
I was just going to say I spoke to Coach Watts because it's such a pleasant winter season so far. Is he opening the doors for you guys at practice so you can get that nice fresh air?
No, he hasn't.
How hard are you guys working? We also spoke about the late start of the practice season, but really the season starts the same amount of time, but it seems like you guys are trying to chase down that first game. So have the practices been extra special?
Yeah, we've been working really hard. We've been doing a lot of conditioning, getting ready for the season.
Joe and Tim, back over here. I know there's a pretty special night coming up in January. We're going to try to broadcast it, in fact, when you play your crosstown rivals, and a girls and a boys matchup, a doubleheader over at Fairfield University. Tell me why that night's going to be so special.
It's just a very special night for both schools. Both schools really come out and support each other. They root for a team, and that's all right, but it's always a night to look forward to.
It's a night for charity, right?
Yeah. It's good. Lots of people came out last year. It's sports charity. It's a good event.
Yeah, it sounds like a great event. We're going to do everything we can to be a part of it as well. And I've said this before. You want the feeling of, Connecticut Hoosiers come into this gym at St. Joe's. It's as good an atmosphere as you'll ever be a part of. Always fun to be here. Hopefully we'll come check it out as well. Coach, thank you, and thanks to these guys.
No, thank you very much. We really appreciate you guys coming and talking to us. We're just hoping to bring a different type of brand of basketball this year, an exciting brand of basketball to watch. We're going to do a lot of things that are going to be a little bit different this year, and I think the folks that come out, and especially the kids that are playing it, they're really having fun with the new type of style that we're playing.
Well, good luck to you guys. Have a great season. We thank you all. Looking forward to seeing them. They are going to be on the basketball court before you know it. St. Joseph, the boys basketball team, right here at St. Joseph High School on the H. The girls basketball team at Trumbull High School, home of the Eagles. Bill Bloxham on the other side. I'm Rob Adams. Happy to have you along on the HAN Network. Let's let them all introduce themselves. We'll start right here with the coach who I guarantee is standing next to me.
I'm Coach Steve Tobish.
I'm Christina Vetter.
I'm Emma McGuire. Alyssa Brunig.
All right, Coach, what kind of team do we have this year?
We got a very versatile group of girls. We have a lot of girls who can play multiple positions. We could put a lot of different lineups on the court. It's kind of going to depend on who we're playing each night. It's been a fun start to the season. I'm really excited to get working and get into some gameplay and see how we develop and grow throughout the year.
How are things been going so far, Christina?
I think things have been going really well so far in the preseason. We've all been working hard together as a team, and we're really hoping to start off strong and then improve all together throughout the season.
Emma, you want to talk a little bit about your fun facts?
Well, my first one is most people call me M. And I also moved here from Brooklyn going into my sophomore year. So being a part of the basketball team definitely helped me being as I was in a new school and everything, and the girls are just amazing. They're my best friends, so it's just great to have them.
Alyssa, with all the success the team has had, and now that you're a senior, what are you going to remember most about being a member of the Trumbull High team and things? Is it the bus rides? Is it the camaraderie? Or is it coaches' practices?
I definitely say the team chemistry. Unlike many other sports, the winter sports, basketball is 5 months. So you're with these girls 6-7 days a week for 5 months, and you just create a bond like no other. And that's probably what makes us such a strong team in the end, is our bond and how we know each other so well.
All right, I have two things for Emma. Number one, no accent, impressive. I thought she moved here from Brooklyn. And communication disorders, what is that?
So it's speech pathology. So basically, kids who have a lisp or, a speech impediment, I want to help them get over that speech impediment and, so they can talk like everybody else, I guess.
Wow, that's great. Good for you and good luck with that. Christina, a very interesting basketball game that I've been asking both schools about coming up in January when you play at Fairfield University. We're excited. Hopefully we're going to be a part of it as well. What can you tell us about it?
Well, I know personally it's my favorite game of the season because it's a crosstown rivalry, St. Joe's, Trumbull High. It's been like that even since my sister played. And I think it brings a lot of people out to watch us, and we really love all the energy in the gym. And just the rivalry is just so much fun to play.
And again, money going to charity as well. So, and we're excited to be a part of that. Hopefully it'll all come together, and seeing, a gym, possibly 1,800 people in it, Bill, I'll sign for that.
Yeah, no, looking really forward to that with a great, breast cancer awareness type of thing, getting the monies. And I understand they're also going to be a JV or a freshman game even
right.
during the morning session, which will let it all build up to something special. And the HAN Network is looking forward to possibly being there to help them out. And I just have one more question for Alyssa. What's this St. Mike's thing that you have the right shirt on? Alyssa is going to college next year to play basketball at St. Michael's College. And how is that? How much fun is that to share with your teammates?
It's honestly really exciting because without my teammates, I wouldn't have been able to get this opportunity, and especially my coach. He's taught me so much, and even the girls alongside of me, was able to figure out what school from the girls on my team because I know what people I want to be around, and it's the girls who are standing next to me and my coach.
Coach, good luck to this team. Seems like a good group.
Yeah, they're a great group of girls. We're going to have a fun season.
All right, ladies, best of luck, and we will see you. We'll see you very soon. This is a good group. Looking forward to seeing what they can do in the FCAC and throughout basketball in total. This is the girls basketball team at Trumbull High School on the HAN Network. Joined by members of the boys basketball team. To everyone at both Trumbull and St. Joe's, and of course we'll run the other interviews when time allows. Wrestling tonight. I'm going to hold Dave's feet to the fire for just a moment. Hall of Fame vote comes out tonight. Give me 5 seconds on who you'd vote for.
Well, obviously Ken Griffey.
That's easy enough.
That's an easy one. I guess the big issue, and probably what you're alluding to, is Mike Piazza. And it's a hard call with him, but he was an elite catcher in his day. Good player, good teammate from what I understand, and I'd probably throw a vote his way.
Adam Rubin of ESPN recently wrote that it looks like he's got the votes and he'll go in as a Met. I have problems with both of those, but I will say this. he gets in, to me, the dam is starting to burst open. Get ready for Bonds, get ready for Clemens, get ready for A-Rod, because to me, there's enough speculation. There's enough speculation with other guys. Dam begins to burst open.
That's the whole issue. And, you know, but is speculation enough to keep somebody out? That's the thing, you know?
It has been, as we're into nutmeg overtime, it has been enough. I mean, speculation has been there. I think there's already somebody in that has done steroids.
Probably, yep.
I'm pretty certain of that. But, you know, you're keeping the likes of Jeff Bagwell out and other guys that are suspected. Piazza goes in, we have a whole new conversation in my mind.
You're probably right. You're probably opening the floodgates for a lot of those guys. And it's so difficult because some of those guys, you would think that if there wasn't the speculation, if there wasn't the proof that they had done it, that they would probably be Hall of Famers anyway, even without that. And you know, it's just that was part of their era. And unfortunately, they chose that path.
We switch back to wrestling. We do have wrestling tonight. We will be with you before 7 o'clock. It will be Ridgefield and Trumbull at Trumbull High School. We will chat with Bill Bloxham, who will be alongside of me for the call. So excited for that. And, you know, I'm a little nervous, but okay. It's wrestling.
You know, wrestling's a lot of fun. I always feel like wrestling matches for an individual athlete have got to be the most stressful event that you can be involved in. You're out there by yourself. It's you and another guy on the mat basically using your skills and your brute force, your strength, and just, you know, mano y mano, as they say. It just seems like that would be the ultimate in just, you know, I mean, it's Greek wrestling, you know, from you know, back in the first Olympics. And you know, Trumbull, and the game you're doing tonight, or the match you're doing tonight, Trumbull is a powerhouse.
Yes, they are.
Trumbull is an excellent team, and Bill Bloxham knows them well. They've got guys like Tristan Haviland and Joe Ryan, you know, those guys are just phenomenal athletes, and you know, it should be a lot of fun. Ridgefield's got a few. Ridgefield, team-wise, Trumbull should probably take that match, but individual match-wise, Ridgefield has some guys they can put out there that can compete.
All right, you're all going to love this. Sometime before the end of the broadcast, am I supposed to say, my God, that man had a family? And I said that nice and, if you know Jim Ross and I don't know WWE that well, but I did that for the guys who do appreciate it. So, and I know I didn't do it. I did do it appropriately off the air one time for AJ Simonowski to make him laugh, but no, I will not be doing that during tonight's broadcast.
Do the Macho Man, oh yeah.
This is real wrestling tonight, folks. And it's high school wrestling, and it'll be on the air later on tonight, but I thought we could have a little fun with it here on Nutmeg Sports.
It is fun, though, if you watch some of I think this was more prevalent in the past, but I've been at some of where you talk about real wrestling compared to the WWE, I've been at matches before where the kids are getting warmed up and they're walking around in T-shirts that would say, you know, would have like Stone Cold Steve Austin or, you know, or The Rock or somebody like that on their shirts. So, you know, these kids are watching that stuff too. It's entertainment.
Sounds good. See you again. Let's see. We on the road next Wednesday? No, we'll be right here next Wednesday. Coming back?
I'll be here. I'll be here. We'll see if anything's changed or if we're moving in the same direction.
We kind of settle into a rhythm here now, and I know on our lower third it always says the show is hosted by me, but let's be honest. Dave co-hosts on Wednesday, and of course Don Eng handles Monday and Tuesday with me as well, and I'm grateful to both of them. And I was telling Nora Traganese as she was chatting me during the show, I said, I'm grateful for your music as well. It's a grateful, gracious time of day and time of year and all, so let's get going.
Get Don to talk a little bit about Fairfield Prep Hockey. You got to figure out what's going on there.
Oh, he talks about it, and then he gets mad at me when we do talk about it.
They'll be there at the end. They always are.
All right. Just like Greenwich and St. Joe's, we went into overtime. Thanks for sticking around for Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Again, we have a lot to do. We have wrestling tonight, Danbury and Norwalk basketball tomorrow at 7, and then a doubleheader on Saturday from Fairfield University at 6 o'clock, St. Joe's and Trumbull. We'll do all that. Thanks to AJ Simonowski over there. Thanks to Dave Stewart over there for all of them. I'm Rob Adams. See you for wrestling in a couple of hours right here on the HAN Network.